Hello and welcome to another video. My name is CJ the Populist New Yorker, and today we're going to be looking at the 2022 midterms and why Republicans are expected to pick up a lot of seats and win a lot of control of government in the 2022 elections. Even pollsters like FiveThirtyEight and such are predicting it's going to be a very good year for Republicans with redistricting, and overall the fact that it's a midterm, it's going to be a low turnout election among Democrats. So if you enjoy videos like this, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel at the end. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any more videos, and let's jump right into it. So historical trends and the math is not on the Democrat side in 2022. Joe Biden will be the incumbent president then. Republicans are likely to hold on to the Senate. I give it probably a 90% chance that they hold on to the Senate. So by 2023, Republicans will have control, most likely, of the House and Senate. So I'm very confident about Republicans' chances, and I'll explain why. If we look at the historical trends from FiveThirtyEight in terms of parties that have lost and gained seats in midterms, the Democrats, on average, have lost a lot more seats when they were in power than the Republicans. And maybe that's not accurate, but Democrats have lost more seats dramatically than Republicans. We're talking 50, 60 seats, over 60 seats in 2010. Republicans never saw that kind of backlash in the post-World War II era. Now, the only time any party gained seats during the midterms was in 2002 with George W. Bush, and that was mostly just due to 9/11 and the fact that the country was rallying around Bush and the Republicans, which is why he did fairly well. It was a good year for Republicans in 2002. But other than that, the party in power that has the White House has lost a lot of seats in midterms. In the 2018 midterms, Republicans lost 40 seats. In 2016, Republicans, I think, actually gained a couple. They lost a couple. Yeah. But it wasn't that dramatic. Democrats gained like 3 seats, I think. But in 2020, Republicans have already flipped 11 democratically held seats with a net gain of 8. That is definitely going to continue as more states' districts come in. This is probably going to be at around 211. Because New York's first is definitely going to flip. New York's second is definitely going to flip. These are 2 seats that are basically safe Republican seats, kind of like likely Republican, but they're going to flip. As well as New York's 22nd and New York 24th. So right there, Republicans are at 208 seats. They only need 218. That's 10 more seats. Let's say if Iowa's 2nd district flips, New Jersey's 7th, that would be 210 right there. And, of course, if the rest of the outstanding districts get called for Republicans, the 25th in California, the 21st, we're talking 212 to 200 and something for Democrats. Not a whole lot. So Democrats at that point will barely hold on to control at that rate. And Republicans also will have the Louisiana's 5th district. I don't know if that's part of the total tally, but if not, it should be added to it. So a lot of Democratic incumbents did lose their seats. Republicans lost 3 seats, and the reason for that was they ungerrymandered the districts in North Carolina, and of course in Georgia, it was an open seat, and the Democratic opponent who ran in 2018 ended up winning. It was one of the closest House races in the country, Georgia's 7th, and Rob Woodall, who decided not to run for re-election, he held on to his seat by a few hundred votes. So that's how close the race came down to. Now it looks like the Georgia suburbs are blue, and they're probably going to stay that way in a normal election year. And the reason I put that caveat in is because midterm years always have larger turnouts for the opposing party. So Republicans are already going to hold the Senate. I'll make a separate 2020 Senate video in the future discussing what seats Republicans can gain and what seats Republicans could be vulnerable for. I think it's very unlikely that Republicans lose the Senate in 2022, but they could lose a seat or two and maybe trade off some other seats, and we'll get into that in that video. But looking at trends, history will not be favorable to the Democrats when it comes to the party in power. If we look at, and this is the most important thing, is redistricting. This is not going to be the House map of 2022. So I've put some potential flips for the amount of seats that are likely to flip, and the reason I put Rhode Island's 1 district as a flip is because Montana is going to be split into 2, and Rhode Island's going to be 1, so I kind of did a trade-off, because Montana is going to be split into, I think, 1 safe district and 1 lean Republican district, which in a midterm year Republicans will win pretty comfortably. But redistricting is a really big thing that's going to be happening in the 2022 elections. And if we look at how states redistrict, it is very interesting because a lot of states require the legislature to send a map to the governor and for the governor to sign it. A lot of these states either have Republican trifectas, Florida and Texas, and these are states that are expected to gain districts, so they're going to favor Republicans. A state like North Carolina, which requires that only the legislature pass districts, so basically the legislature can draw up districts, and a Democratic governor, Roy Cooper, can't really do anything about it, and that will continue into 2022. Pennsylvania, Michigan, which has a nonpartisan commission, so that doesn't count, but Pennsylvania and Wisconsin are likely to be relatively equal maps. In 2010, Wisconsin's House maps were drawn with Scott Walker as governor. This time, Democrat Tony Evers is in the governor's mansion, rather. So the districts will likely be more fair. However, Republicans will probably still keep around the same number of seats. Pennsylvania is really interesting because how the map is drawn now, Republicans have three. What the hell? There we go. Republicans have three big pickups that are potential that could happen in 2022. So we have Pennsylvania's 17th district, which Conor Lamb, as of this point with 97% reporting, it looks like Conor Lamb is only going to win the seat by at most 3 points. So this is a seat that's definitely going to be up. And the reason why I don't think Pennsylvania's districts are going to change all that much is because I think the Democratic governor, Tom Wolf, and the Republican legislature are probably going to keep a map very similar to this, so I don't see a whole lot changing. Pennsylvania's 8th is very likely to flip. Matt Cartwright barely won re-election by around 2 or 3 points. And likewise, Pennsylvania's 7th, Susan Wild, barely held on. It was a very close race. New Jersey's 7th hasn't been called yet, but if the districts are similar, and again, New Jersey's an independent commission, is a political commission made up of Republicans and Democrats, so the map is probably going to be similar. Republicans will probably have 3 or 4 seats in New Jersey after the 2022 elections. I don't know why New York's 11th hasn't been called. Max Rose literally conceded already, so the New York Times is definitely behind the ball here. All the seats in a place like Utah are likely to stay. Again, if we go back to who has control, the state legislature is overwhelmingly Republican, and the governors are Republican. This seat is going to stay in Republican hands. All of these seats are likely to stay Republican, as well as the seats in Iowa and Ohio. Ohio, and I don't know about Iowa, but I know Ohio is projected to lose seats. It's right here. So the states that are expected to gain seats are states like Oregon, Arizona, Colorado, Texas, Florida, North Carolina. Those are the big 3. Those are states where Republicans have to gain. Because, again, in 2022, there's going to be lower Democratic turnout. Republican turnout is going to be higher. So Republicans are definitely going to gain. And this happens in every midterm. These are the trends. This is due to the lower turnout. And though people are more politically engaged than they were in 2014, let's say, or whatever, with Trump out of the office after 2 years or so, people aren't going to be as polarized to get out and vote. Democrats aren't going to be as energized to keep the House, and they're not going to keep the House. Even FiveThirtyEight, which is tends to always favor Democrats in their polling methodology. At least it's been that way since 2016 because they've always underestimated Republicans, and nearly all polling firms underestimate Republicans, and that's to the detriment of Democrats, funny enough, because when polls are closer, both sides are more likely to come out. New York, which is a very Democratic state, is likely to lose seats. Those seats are most likely going to be in upstate New York, as Long Island has been relatively steady in population growth. Same with the New York metro area. So a seat upstate might be lost. So that might be a lost opportunity for Republicans there. But other states are expected to lose seats. For West Virginia, we know, is going to lose a seat. And Alabama, we're almost positive, is going to lose a seat. California might lose a seat, too. So those are California, that favors Republicans probably, but in the case of West Virginia and Alabama, that doesn't. But overall, Montana's going to get a 2nd district. That's going to be Republican. And Rhode Island's going to lose a district. So Rhode Island's going to have 1 at-large district, which is really interesting. Michigan and Minnesota could also lose seats. Minnesota I'm not so sure about because Minnesota is actually growing. So we'll see how that pans out. So as I've said before, I've had a bunch of potential flips. So far in this map, I've made 20 potential Republican flips with lower Democratic turnout in a projected wave year. Oh, I forgot Colin Allereed's seat. I think that will flip, so that's 21. So as of right now, Republicans would have 230 seats in my map, and I'm probably underestimating Republicans based on the numbers because we could see some other typically blue seats that are relatively close. Let's see what seats were close, not those. There's definitely blue seats that I'm probably missing, maybe like Oregon's 4th district. There might be, and Washington's 8th. Those could possibly flip, but I didn't put it on this map. So we'll really see how those pan out. But right now, the history and the turnout is on Republican side. Again, Republicans were completely underestimated in 2020. Trump lost, but not by nearly enough. And I know there's going to be people in the comments that are like, voter fraud, voter fraud. As I've said in every single video, I'll believe the allegations of voter fraud when they're proven in a court of law, like the Supreme Court. And so far, the lawsuits haven't really been a success. And I know people keep trying to tell me there's going to be successful ones. Again, I like to keep my channel very upfront and straightforward. And I'm not going to put things out there I don't really believe are true, or I don't have enough evidence to back up. So I'm not going to put any of those theories out on the channel. But anyway, guys, that is it for today's video. That is my prediction. As of right now, Republicans could have as much as 230 seats, and that might be in the middle to lower range as to what they could get. Because again, as we just discussed, Republicans will have a very slanted influence when it comes to redistricting a lot of states. Again, Texas, Florida, North Carolina, the big ones that are expected to grow. Ohio as well. If Republicans redraw the districts there in a certain way, they could even draw out a Democratic district since the state is getting a lot redder. Same with Iowa. So again, a lot of states under legislative control. And we can look at this map real quick to show which parties have partisan redistricting control, and Republicans definitely have the upper hand in this case. So, and again, John Bel Edwards, I don't know if he'll approve or deny a Republican drawn map. He is a very conservative Democrat, but he does tend to support his own party. He endorsed Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. He's likely to try to and get a more fair map. Again, when redistricting happened last time in the state of Louisiana, it was under Bobby Jindal, who was a Republican. So Republicans definitely were in a better position to do better in 2010 since they had the advantage. They had Republican governors. I'm stupid. There was no redistricting in 2010. That happened in 2012. So that poised them to do better in 2014. But anyway, guys, Republicans clearly have a advantage when it comes to partisan redistricting. And of course, when it comes to governorships as well, they have the advantage, not to mention lower turnout and the fact that we have the map as it is right now, and Republicans could have as much as 211 seats in the House of Representatives. So really only 7 Democrat votes that could possibly swing, although it's not likely. But this will be really hard for future Biden administration. Not a lot can get done because even if in 2022, let's say, the House and Senate go red, which is very, very likely. In fact, I think it's almost inevitable. I think Republicans are likely to keep the House keep the Senate in 2022 and 2020. So that's really going to give them a big advantage over a Biden administration, coupled with the fact that we have a 6-3 conservative Supreme Court. And if that does hold through the Biden administration, not a whole lot is going to get done. So anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. Republicans will win big in the House in 2022. I'm calling it now. I know it's only November 2020. The election was 2 weeks ago. But based on historical trends and based on the turnout dynamic, Republicans are going to do much better in the 2022 midterms than I think people even think at this point. They did better in 2020, and I think that success is likely to continue. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Please leave a thumbs up. Please share this video. It really helps out the channel. And please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. Very important so you don't miss any more videos. The algorithm doesn't like me right now because I took a little bit of breaks, and now my video views have fallen off very dramatically. So hit that bell notification so you get alerted when I upload another video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.